One Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Love is in the air, and so are big savings. It's the Big I Do event at Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions, April 4th through the 6th. For 3 days only, enjoy 20% off all engagement rings and wedding bands, plus exclusive bridal collections from our top designers. Whether you're saying yes or I do, shop now for the year's best prices and selection. April 4th through 6th, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? Happy Friday. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School, brought you the new school way. We're live here at 14th and O Street, or 11th and O Street, excuse me. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th Yankee Hill, 85th and Laundromat, 168th in Maple. A lot going on in college football. I know, obviously, we had some audio from the Huskers and stuff like that. I'm sure that's been kind of blown through, but more importantly, the biggest news of the day in college football over the last, I guess, couple of days is Deion Sanders, Mr. Primetime himself, fresh off of his three sons going into the NFL and gonna, make their mark there. Got re-upped, he kind of dabbled in the Dallas job, thought that he was going to maybe get the Florida State job, but I think the buyout was too big. Chose to stay, really hadn't talked about getting a new contract, probably knew it was in the works, and obviously the amount of money that he's brought into the university, number one, and then obviously Boulder, number two, and the surrounding areas, and not primarily, the state of Colorado, and obviously off of a pretty, magical year. You knew it was just a matter of time before it coming. So he got about $10 million a year.
It's just too bad that the NCAA denied his request to play against Syracuse in spring practice. He has a few more dollar bills to wipe his tears with now.
Yeah.
Kind of a funny glow up, though, Jay, from a guy that came from Colorado not being able to pay his $5 million salary
he had
to now making 10, 11, 11, 12, and 12.
Well, I think that the donors that they were going to hit up probably saw the type of money that he brings. I don't think people realize his impact on college football, where there's Jackson State, which I think is really in a really good place financially, I think, since he left. And then where Colorado is as far as financially with the T-shirt, hats, jersey sales, and the amount of money that he brought into the city of Boulder is on a game in and game out basis. I mean, and I don't know how they measure the social media aspect of it, but it's definitely got to be the tops in the country. And so the $10 million is probably right on par what he should be making, and probably has more to do with what I said before than maybe the coaching. But I think he's probably surprised and surpassed the people's assumptions as far as him as a coach. I mean, I'm one of my good friends is on his staff, Anthony Pass. He's their head trainer, and he just said, "Look, dude," he's like, "This dude he's sun up to sundown. What you see on TV is not who he is. He is meticulous to every detail. He's on time, he's on target, and he is thorough, and he holds everybody accountable." And he's like, he knows football in and out. He wants to know everything, but he lets his coaches do it. And I think they've continued to add to their staff a little bit.
That's a rare club with 10 mil as a head coach.
I know. That's a big
There's
step
not
up.
many guys.
That's a big step up for Colorado.
From 5 to 10,
because I'm sure
doubling. You're in not quite Kirby Smart, Dabo Swinney territory. You're in Ryan Day territory right now.
But you're in that territory based on the school that you're at. Now, granted, I know they went in the Big 12 now, and you probably got some boosted money, but you got to think they're probably. It'd be interesting to look, Austin. Are they still paying buyouts of the last coach?
Ooh, I don't know. Let's see.
Because Deion's only been there for what, 2 years?
He's going into year 3.
Yeah, so he's been there 2 full years. And they made the bowl game. They got trounced in, looking good in the bowl game. They don't have
the other guys they had weren't exactly high profile.
No,
so I can't imagine they'd be paying that much buyout unless it was structured.
But all I'm saying is, for a program, when the AD says, "Okay, now I got to go get the money to pay the previous $5 million," you just would assume, that's also in part of, or at least prior, maybe these first 2 years, you're still paying them. But for if $5 million for a guy like Deion that you went and got, and you were, I think, probably towards the end of the contract, donor, and I think obviously with NIL and all this other stuff, and obviously I'm pretty sure he probably pays for himself, and who knows how he structured the contract, because the way that he was getting paid down in Jacksonville or Jackson State was based off of like fans and the butts and stands, and that's part of the reason why he left, because when he did the accounting, it wasn't accounted for. The math was not mathing, and so if he's doing something like that up at Colorado,
woo,
he's actually taking a pay cut.
Right.
And here's why I feel very comfortable saying it. When we went up there a couple years ago, when I tell you the amount of prime hat, shades, fake chains, T-shirts, sweatshirts, I remember we were trying to find, and I got to ride up the elevator with the athletic. He was actually pretty cool.
Rick George.
Yeah. He was like, "Hey, welcome. You want to hang out in my box?" I was like, "Yeah, that's probably not going to work out too well."
Much as I would like to. I would understand.
Because I know you probably got good food and good drink in there, and I said it probably wouldn't. So he actually kind of ushered me to where I was supposed to go.
Makes one of them.
Right. But yeah, right. But he was like, we were stuck in front of their like team store right down there. He was like, "Man," he's like, "We can't keep this store stocked enough.
Woo.
We can't keep things on the shelves." So it's an on par contract for that. But I think if Deion's able to have a winning record this year without Travis Hunter and Shador and Shiloh, and showing that he can really recruit and develop, and then obviously they went in the portal, had those really good receivers, Jimmy Horn and all those guys. Then there's still gonna be butts in the stands. I mean, it's must see TV. It's an event up there.
Who did Deion Sanders take over for? Do you remember the previous head coach?
It's Daryl somebody, right?
Carl Durrell.
Carl Durrell, and he's an alum.
No, Carl Durrell.
He came from
UCLA,
but he's
he
Colorado.
had coached at Colorado.
Okay, yeah, he had Colorado connections before he got there.
Before Carl Durrell, do you remember who the coach was?
There's another guy. They've had
Mel Tucker.
Yeah, that's right.
5-7.
Oh yeah, because Mel Tucker was talking about their weight program when they beat us. Yeah. Yeah. And then before that, who was that?
It was Mike McIntyre, who led him to a Pac-12 South championship at 10-4. His other best record was 5-7.
Yeah.
Before that, it was John Embry for 2 years, and then one of my favorite Colorado coaches of all time, Sue trucked his kid. Remember the name?
Hawkins.
Yep,
Yeah.
Dan Hawkins.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you this though. For a campus that have some issues up there, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Look, they partake in what I like to partake in.
They do. Indeed.
That would be a phenomenal place to go to school. But they got some issues up there, so much that it was on 60 Minutes. As far as the issues of on campus, hanging nooses and stuff like that. They hire some brothers now.
They will. They do. That's 3 in a row.
Yeah. They hey, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't trickle down to on campus, but
the administration
said, "Hey,
we cool."
Yeah, we cool. No, I'm just playing. But
they hit you with the.
Oh, they get Rick George is he definitely seasons his meat.
Head nod guy, and I can almost guarantee that he gets after it up in the athletic director suite. Not too bad, but I'm sure he has his nice donors, donors with him, and that's what you should do. I mean, you're entertaining people, so I'm for him, I'm not a gambler. I'm sure his sphincter muscle was real tight flying down to Jackson, Mississippi to try to get Deion to come up there, and I don't think it was done right away. Him getting on the plane, probably thinking about the parameters and how it's a gamble. Can Deion coach at this level? Can those players really play at this level? And which was the bigger risk, Deion or Lance Leipold?
I'd probably I would only say Deion, and I knew Deion could coach, and I knew Travis Hunter and those guys. I mean, those could play.
Yeah.
I think it was more or less would it work. I think Lance Leipold going from Buffalo to Kansas. Is that where you went?
Yeah. Well, from Whitewater to Buffalo to Kansas. Yeah.
I thought that was more easy, and plus it's Kansas. I think Colorado has a little bit more cachet. And it was just Deion whether it would be, you could either extend your stay in Colorado as an AD and be like the guy that's always going to take the out of the box hire and make it work. That's what he's known for, right? He's going to however long if he doesn't stay at Colorado for the rest of his career, he's going to have that in his back pocket, and he has that partnership with Deion. That's still a big risk. Because the reward is what he's being rewarded with right now. I don't think it was as big a risk when you look at all the factors, but more or less perception.
The optics, everything. And here's the thing: because fair or not, that's more than half the battle. Sometimes is the optics and the narrative.
It's 80% of the battle,
which is crazy.
That's where a lot of guys are not drafted and also hired based on optics, and the optics of Deion, if you're lazy, makes it easier to hate Deion because he's they perceive him as flamboyant, cocky. He's confident, and he's definitely believes in himself. But when you get under all that, you don't become a legendary player, a top 10, easy top 5-6 player of all time. By not working hard,
right?
By not doing the things you need to do. Now I think it's all kind of smokescreen because He's very, outspoken. He knows what he's talking about. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, and he knows what he's talking about. But then also coming with him, you get the cameras, you got his, two, related sons along with Travis Hunter, who's exactly the totally opposite. But it's just a lot that goes with him, and it's a big risk. It's a big risk because it makes people uncomfortable. It doesn't matter who you are, right? I have friends that I got friends that are brothers. They don't like Deion, right? They and now I also think that nobody's perfect. I do think when you have to recruit the way Deion's recruited, you don't hear about some of the things that he's probably had to do. I'm sure he's got some people in his back pocket working for him to usher guys his way. But at the end of the day, you got recruiting is not a nice guy type of business because even more now, which I didn't know, and I don't know if this is at every school, that coaches get paid on star ranking,
which is nuts.
So if I know Austin is probably a little bit better player long term, but I get a little bit of kickback off of that, then that's it. And so it's a dog world. But
you act like I wouldn't have been a 5-star.
You were.
I was not.
But you
I'm
humble,
kidding.
so I didn't want to do it. I mean, but it's rough out there, man.
Bryce asks an interesting question here on the text line. Was it really that big a risk for Colorado when that program was a doormat in the bad conference?
It wasn't as big a risk as people made it because they were desperate. Because
they had to do something.
They had to do something because they were almost off the edge of the cliff, and then this was their last lifeline. It was a big risk because if it didn't work, there was no coming back. So even if Deion went and took the Cowboys job, it's now Colorado is an appealing job. When Deion left Jackson State, which is HBCU, it's a more appealing job because they know what the demands of a top quality coach expect, even though you won't be able to meet it. It's not so foreign for the next coach. Support, like Under Armour's involved with them. They have all the bells and whistles. Remember, they had the new locker room and everything. Yeah. And so now for them to go and be a player in their realm of recruiting, they're ahead of the game. So
just by him being there.
Yeah, his footprint is still there. And anytime you have success and you leave places, you're never gonna, it's never an easy breakup because they don't want to, they want you there forever. But obviously he's leveled up, and it's going to be no different if and when he leaves Colorado.
Jacob in Lincoln says, were they really on the cliff? Mel Tucker did good work there and showed you could still succeed. Let me pull up for you Colorado's year-by-year records before Deion Sanders took over.
The reason why they're on the cliff because now, granted, Mel Tucker leaving there was based on a late firing, which we'll get into Stanford, like Michigan State, because D'Antonio, I think he retired, so he didn't fire. But good coaches, when you finally get a good coach, right? Because you had Hawkins, and then you kind of spun your wheels, and then you got Mel Tucker, who was an under the radar hire, and he was coming from a coordinator position at Georgia, and kind of got the Nick Saban sign off. One halfway decent good year, and he's out of there
for some of the most guaranteed money in college football history for a coach at Michigan State.
Right,
Jay. Before 2016, Colorado wins the Pac-12 South, lose the Pac-12 championship game, and they go to the Alamo Bowl and they lose it. Before 2016, Colorado's previous bowl game came in 2007. They went a decade between bowl appearances. Dan Hawkins went to the Independence Bowl at 6-6. Then they went 5-7, 3-9, 5-7, 3-10, 1-11, 4-8, 2-10, 4-9. Won the Pac-12 South, dipped back down to 5-7 and 5-6. So Mike McIntyre, it was the 4 wins, 2 wins, 4 wins. Random pop-up year with Montez and Chenault and those guys. Then down to 5 wins the next year, 5 wins the year after that. He gets canned. They bring in Mel Tucker, who goes 5-7. Carl Durrell goes 4-2 in the COVID year, goes to the Alamo Bowl and loses, then goes 4-8 and 0-5. Colorado goes 1-11 in 2022. Yeah. That program was not in a good spot, right? 5-7 was pretty much what Colorado was. Mel Tucker did what Colorado had done for the better part of a decade and a half, and that got him hired at Michigan State.
Yeah, and because it was so drastically different from what it was before, and they beat Nebraska, and they looked better, and they had some guys that were, NFL caliber guys, and so he came in with a kind of a different mindset, where
SEC mindset.
Yeah, SEC mindset, and it was refreshing. But we have a text here, and Mel Tucker didn't leave cleanly. There was the conference problems and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, Colorado, to be honest with you, is not even though it has I'll say a somewhat of a rich football history. It's never been an easy place to coach.
No.
Easy place to develop. And obviously you had the years that were Nebraska and Colorado was must-see TV, but then you go through a lull. You have Rick Neuheisel, and then you go through a lull, and then obviously now they're back up into the peak. But it's never been consistent. And, but I just think that, where Deion's at right now, I think it's an all-encompassing type of paycheck. And, now the pressure's on for him to continue along to be successful. I think that Colorado also has to manage their expectations too. They have to take the emotions of last year out of it, right? Because if the reason why you have to do that, you have to look at how far they were when they had a must-win game against Kansas to get into the college football playoffs, which would change everything.
Just ask this place.
Right, but they were set up on a platter, dookie down the leg, have success, keep the guys around. The whole thing of taking that big plane down there and went down there and laid an egg. So those are the little things that they got to really focus on to try to get back on, to what the perception is. Plus, everybody in the Big 12 is going to get better.
Yeah.
So
it's really not a bad conference.
It's a perfect conference for them.
Yes. I don't like how everyone's saying the Big 12 is a bad conference. It's good. It's essentially Big East basketball and a football conference.
Hey,
that's what it is.
You play them in the bowl game and you go out there and drag your feet.
Watch out.
You're going to get blown out the water.
Watch out.
And then you're going to get on the plane with a lot of regret. Eating cold cuts. Yeah. So there's talent down there, and they are on the come up. And so I think Deion and Colorado being in there now and starting to kind of spread things, I think it's gonna really increase their profile. So we're gonna take a quick break. Come back. We'll talk a little bit about the obviously college football moving forward with Stanford. Andrew Luck is, I guess, he's another trivia question. The first GM to fire a coach, right? Is that true?
As far as I know.
Yeah. In college.
Yeah.
The timing of the firing, you have a big time outside linebacker that's going in the portal, and what that means. And do you understand that you're going to lose some good players or some really good players on an average team when you make this decision? Obviously is warranted based on the finding. So we'll talk about that. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We're going to see plenty of sunshine for your Friday. It's going to be breezy, too. Wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. High risk of fire danger, so a red flag warning will be in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. High temperature of 86 degrees. The record today, 90. So I don't think we're going to set a record this afternoon. Could bring in some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder overnight. Better chance of rain on your Saturday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Do you need a urologist? At Urology Partners of Nebraska, we understand the urgency of your health. That's why we offer appointments within 48 hours. Although we're new to the community, our team brings years of experience and expertise to provide you with the best care possible. From vasectomies to kidney stones, we've got you covered for all your urology health concerns. Call 402-413-2800 today and experience the difference at Urology Partners of Nebraska.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What over back, Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, second segment. We alluded to it. Stanford brings back Andrew Luck. It's like, all right, dude, you coming back. Here's this mess that you got to work through. And obviously I'm sure the investigation had to have been going on, right? Like before you took the job.
This is the second investigation that got launched.
So if you hadn't heard, Stanford or Andrew Luck fired the coach or former head coach at Stanford after investigation into, I guess I'll call it like sexual harassment. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Sexual harassment, or I don't want to like get.
We don't need details.
Yeah.
It was not good. He belittled the female staff and made some unwanted advances.
Yeah.
It was a problem.
And it's Troy Taylor. Before Andrew Luck got there, but it's hard because at what point in time do you let due process work, or do you fire him and then you have to pay the buyout and then try to go get the money back?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, judging by these allegations, or two different firms investigated, came to the same conclusion that you maybe knew that you're going to get to the point where you had to fire him probably during the season.
Yeah.
But I guess more importantly, Andrew Luck is the first GM essentially, and I don't know if Stanford does things differently, but maybe it's part of him taking the job as the GM, and saying he needs a reset. But I just think is this the way it's going to be, that the GM is going to hire and fire coaches, or is it still going to be athletic director or in conjunction? And I think it's going to be based on wherever you're at.
That's kind of my takeaway as well, because Andrew Luck and Pat Stewart have the same title, but not the same job.
Yeah.
Stewart is below Matt Rule. He is on Matt Rule's staff.
Right.
Whereas Andrew Luck might have the same title as of general manager, but he to me, Jay, seems more like an assistant AD for football, right? Taking something off of the full AD's plate, right? Saying, hey, I trust you. I hired you. You are in charge of football decisions, right? There's not much that's going to go over your head to me. Handle a lot of the business there. And if you really have questions, come get me. So I do think that like Stanford with Andrew Luck is in a place where he is going to be in charge of more of the hiring, firing, probably some of the cap stuff with his NFL experience. Sure. But I don't think a place like Nebraska is going to operate that same way.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why maybe Andrew Luck took the job, because I think if he's anything like his dad, he's probably looking to maybe be an NFL GM. I could see him taking over for up there at the Colts.
Please.
I mean,
Ballard finally had a good offseason, but
Irsay owes Andrew Luck.
Oh boy,
a little give back. I'm sorry I never drafted any offensive players for you, and the offensive line sent you into retirement. And I'm sorry I leaked that you were retiring during the preseason game, and you got booed while you were
standing on the sideline, minding your own business,
and had an enormous dip in his mouth, going into halftime.
Mm-hmm.
How about here you be the GM? Heck, they hired Jeff Saturday out of the booth, which, not to get off track, when they beat the Raiders, I was like, this might have some meat on the bone with Jeff Saturday.
And it's gone.
Yeah, but I do think Jeff Saturday could coach. I think he has, very, very
It
good.
Just didn't make sense for that organization at that time.
It started. You know it was. Though.
Yes, I know exactly.
Saturday was up there drinking.
Yes.
And it was like a bet.
Yeah. It was a joke.
Yeah. And he's like, how many? That must have been some good scotch or wine or whatever they were drinking. Man. For a billionaire, so you know what?
Well, let me not bring up Jim Irsay's history in this conversation. He's probably aware of what the good stuff is.
Maybe he has some edibles. How about that? But anyways, this right here, unfortunately, for Taylor, the head coach, it's going to maybe be hard for him to come back from to that magnitude. A power forward job, a storied, well-respected university like Stanford, he's going to have to work his way up, and it's unfortunate, that that's going to be what he's going to be known for. But then also he's known for Andrew Luck obviously firing him, and more importantly, what are you going to do and who are you going to hire? Are you going to get an interim coach? Now guys are going to go into the portal. Bailey, who's definitely an NFL draft pick or eventual NFL draft pick, came back probably based on improving his stock, and obviously saw who was in the draft, but he very easily could have went in the portal the very first time, but he chose to stay based on his experience and maybe with Coach Taylor, and maybe in players are shielded from that. you're definitely losing him.
Was A.O. Manor, was he a junior or is he a senior? Did he have to go or did he? I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
The receiver.
I don't
remember if he was a
pretty
junior.
good. He
Senior,
actually did pretty good against Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So you're in a little bit of a pickle here, and now you think about with you're losing a guy, David Bailey, he's was a freshman All-American, obviously all conference, I mean, he's a premier pass rusher. He's gone. Ruben, who's a okay receiver, he's gone. Now you have to deal with that because you're forced, your hand is forced to make this decision. But more importantly is how you go about your next decision, because that's going to be, I don't envision them, like if it doesn't work out, firing Andrew Luck, but this is going to be, the first part of your legacy as a GM. And it's a very unique position because.
And you're young, so it's not like you're going to retire.
Right. And
you better not get a kidney injury being a GM.
Yeah. So this whole program belongs to Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find a coach that's going to be okay with you being his boss.
Yeah.
Versus, like you said, in most places, the GM is kind of doing GM stuff, allocating certain amount of the dollars. And they have, athletic department, staff that help them with it. But you're looking at evaluating players, shaking the trees, being able to look at the transfer portal, what percentage is going to certain positions, evaluating it, is Jay worth the money versus, someone else, am I earning my contract, and then also being, well averse to potential rules that could change in the future. Whereas Andrew Luck is essentially running this thing like an NFL program. Like, I'm hiring you and I'm going to be doing the salary cap. I'll probably have a staff, but how you're playing or how you're coaching, I'm going to decide how long you're going to stay here.
And that's interesting because one of the names that's popped up for Stanford again is the Clapper.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
They talked to him quite a few times after they got rid of David Shaw, which Stanford is now on a string of 4 straight 3-9 seasons. Shaw went 4-2 in the COVID year, 4-8 the year before that. It's been 3-9 since then. They talked to Jason Garrett, but ended up going with Troy Taylor. I'm curious how Andrew Luck, number one, views Stanford, and number two, views the game of college football, and if it is a different game than the NFL or if it's NFL light. If it's NFL minor leagues, because that, to me, I think would most likely influence the direction he takes this hire.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's close enough to it that he's seen the change. I think he's very smart and kind of, you have to be at Stanford, but also I think he's very worldly too. He has a great, I guess, black book of people. I mean, him and Peyton Manning are real close, so he can lessen the learning curve very quickly. The Jason Garrett thing is a little. I always worry about. I shouldn't say this because if I guess somebody asked me to coach, I'd probably go do it. But Jason, former head coach, and Jason Garrett is actually pretty decent on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to jump in this arena, and do you really want to go to Stanford?
I have a really funny image in my head of Bruce Arians, Stanford head football coach.
Boy,
can you imagine?
He can recruit.
There's no way it happens, but I just got that funny image in my head.
And Stanford never releases the contracts of the coaches.
They're private
because they're private. So you can you can pay people. One thing about Stanford I didn't like. I didn't like how David Shaw left. I love David Shaw.
He's a good coach.
I wonder if Andrew Luck could say, "Hey, look, man, can you give me 2 or 3 more years?" Because I think Stanford it's now, granted, the paycheck is going to make the sell a little bit easier, but I do think it's a hard sell because the type of athletes that you still have to, even though academics is a little bit easy. I always talk about Northwestern. They came and the dude he told me he could get me in. Gary Barnett, he could get me in. And my dad stood up on the table, how you gonna keep him there? Because
okay, so let's just have this discussion while we're here. I feel like of the quote unquote academic nerd football schools, Stanford should have the most advantages.
Yes.
It should have advantage over Northwestern, which, Chicago talent's good.
But not like California.
Not Cali talent. Vandy, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you there. And you have legendary players that they know. So
yeah, and Duke, if Duke can win 9 games in the ACC,
I totally,
Stanford, you can't.
And I think academics is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think now it's like, okay, if you want to just be now, you just got to go to class now. Okay,
show up.
You're going to graduate. And we're still going to keep the astrophysics guys away from you. You just make sure you just look like you're going to go to. I think he can do it, but it's just going to be. I mean, it's so late in the game. Like
it's during spring ball.
So who can you go get?
Right.
Well, sometimes Austin.
Wink Martindale.
No.
Bruce Arians OC. Wink Martindale DC for college football team.
Here's what
Jay, don't act like you don't want that movie.
That would be funny. I just
bring Greg Roman back.
Yeah, right. I just want them to be. Hey,
I'm just saying.
No.
Am I onto something?
Hold on. Greg Roman as the head coach.
That's okay. See, we're on something.
I like that. Out of nowhere, I love Greg Roman too, man.
I was joking, but I wasn't.
I'm gonna tell you what. Sometimes if Andrew Luck is in his house out there in Palo Alto,
on the farm,
and talking to himself, he's probably because he talking to himself, right? Oh, that's a great hire. He's looking at the best hire that he can get himself for a year. He could bring some stability, accountability, leadership. He wouldn't be calling plays, but he would be the head coach.
Yeah.
Might not be a bad idea.
He absolutely brings in Bruce Arians as OC then.
Yeah. And Bruce is not recruiting.
No.
Yeah. He's selling.
Just ask him.
He'll be there at campus. But I'm going to tell you what, man, when I signed with San Fran, I played with guys and I knew guys that played at Stanford, played with them, right? Like Chris Draft, Kylie Wong. I played with him for, 3 or 4 years. Howard, I know guys like that, right? I mean, I knew him. And I always kind of looked at him like, you a brother that went to Stanford. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're not going to Papa Do's with me. You know what I'm saying? They always had their diets right. You know what I'm saying? And Kylie was cool. Kylie was cool, man, because Kylie broke the mold. Because I knew Kylie when he played with the Vikings, and then we played. So I've been knowing him since we've been in the league together. And man, he can drink some tequila and wine. And I think he was doing it just because I had to check his brother card,
just to fit in.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have.
Yeah, because one night we was over there getting a little loose, a little bit at my house or whatever. I think a little townhouse I had. We sitting out back. I met his mom. Beautiful. I mean, one of the best. I mean, she was great. White
salt
lady.
of the earth.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, damn. Your mom, because she had like kind of gray white hair, So I was looking at it, I was like, what's up? Where'd
it come from?
Yeah, that's what I looked at. He looked at me, and then then he drank me underneath the table, because then Kylie called me the next week. I know what he was doing, but honest to God. But back to that. So when I got picked up by the 49ers, the 49ers like weight room and the meeting rooms are the same ones I think Jerry Rice and them were that. It was old. Like I always talk about when we ate breakfast, it was a great breakfast, but we were underneath a tent. And in the mornings out there in the fall, it's cold, but then it heats up. Well, then they took me to Stanford to do my physical, the whole deal. Man, that's a great campus.
I've heard
I was like,
dang,
I see why you went to, I texted Kyle. I was like, you know what? I see why you went to Stanford. He's like, see? Yeah. So it's not a hard sell once you get there. I think once you get past it, but also I think that Stanford with that private money, I think if they go out and try to approach a big-time coach, and I don't see why Greg Roman, who was on that staff with Jim Harbaugh, and has been a coordinator, has worked his way up, has done a really good job at the college level. Why wouldn't that be celebrated? You can trust him. You know what he likes. You know what he's going to do. I think Stanford is the one place I think that can lessen the talent gap by kind of like how the Los Angeles Chargers are. Physical, downhill. They're going to be explosive in the pass game, defense, develop guys, because guys are going to go to Stanford. You're thinking about bigger things than football.
4 for 40.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians doesn't think about bigger things in football, though.
Bruce Arians is retired. Right?
Until.
He ain't coming back. You think?
You're telling me if Andrew Luck didn't place a call and said, hey, Bruce, I need 12 games from you?
I don't think so. I think
I know Bruce is an East Coast guy, but he's got some
he
Cali
reluctantly left Tampa.
Well, he didn't want to.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see him going all the way out there
For 12 games?
Why do it for a year? Because he's gonna want you. Because then he's gonna get the bite of the apple.
Would he?
He's a lifer. I guarantee he's not happy chilling. But once you get that pro, like coaching in the pros is hard. No recruiting, none of this nonsense. You don't have to worry about NIL. You just coach the guys that you get in there, and all you have to worry about is your position group. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that I will say we need to go to break. If I could give guys that are going in the NFL, listen, I'm gonna tell you as a linebacker or a player, there's gonna be times you don't play well, and the games just don't go your way. If you want to keep some job security, make sure you play good on special teams, because that's the dude that's going to go for you, because he's under the most pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have anything. He gets kind of what he gets. You play good on special teams. So anyways, we'll take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this bad boy. Sweet 16, Friday night. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Plus, Koppel has over $10,500 off list on other select new models. Our pre-owned truck lot is full of late model low gyms as well. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with a roof credit, 0% is standalone.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Do you need a urologist? At Urology Partners of Nebraska, we understand the urgency of your health. That's why we offer appointments within 48 hours. Although we're new to the community, our team brings years of experience and expertise to provide you with the best care possible. From vasectomies to kidney stones, we've got you covered for all your urology health concerns. Call 402-413-2800 today and experience the difference at Urology Partners of Nebraska.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get the Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Back to Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back for one final segment here during Old School. Austin Oerman with you. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop. 3 Lincoln locations, 1 up in Omaha, with every type of meat and every type of cut. Some more only in baseball. Corey had a little bit of this on the show yesterday from Liquid Assets, but the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Colorado Rockies by the final score of 3-2. First game of the year for both of those teams. But how about this? The Rays, according to Jason Stark of The Athletic, had 1 walk-off opening day home run in all their years at Tropicana Field since the franchise was around in the 90s. First home opener at Steinbrenner Field produces a walk-off home run by Cameron Meisner. They're 1-for-1 in walk-off opening day home runs at the Yankees minor league ballpark stadium. Okay, that's pretty cool. But how about this? From OptaStats on Twitter, Cameron Meisner of Rays Baseball is the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit a walk-off home run on opening day for his first career home run. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff there. Also pretty cool, Duke Blue Devils got it done last night. And then again today, Duke takes down Carolina in a 2-3 matchup in the Birmingham Regional. So both Blue Devils teams are on to the Elite Eight. Got a question on YouTube from TMZ. Does Nebraska football need a GM? They have a GM. So whether or not you think they need one, they absolutely have one. Derek in a car. Should Nebraska fans be more or less hopeful that player evaluation will also be better under Holgerson than under Marcus Satterfield? Yes, you would hope that with every coaching change, evaluation gets better. I do think that there's more of a defined scheme for Dana Holgerson, guy that's been in the business for a long time that knows what it is that he is recruiting for. So yeah, I would assume Nebraska has a bit more of a cohesive plan on offense, and I would hope and assume and expect that would manifest in recruiting in what Nebraska is looking for. For Jay, I'm Austin. It's been a blast. Don't go anywhere. In about 10 minutes, we got some more Sweet 16 action coming your way right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Muchachos has been serving Lincoln delicious pork, brisket, and chicken tacos for several years now, as well as Hatch Mac nachos and more. Muchachos also brings you close to the taste buds of your favorite local college athletes with NIL deals like the B3 burrito for Bella Bacon of Nebraska softball and many more. See a variety of different NIL options at Muchachos at 11th and K or order online at yomuchacho.com. Open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
When your home fills up with family, Allo Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Allo Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street
Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.